this idea of the cup will be very strong in the poetry of Omar Khayyam. I have no business save to carouse and revelry, and they have this whole imagery that has been cataloged of the tavern and drinking and so on. So on the surface they looked like impious people, but actually it was a symbolic language, and each thing represented some spiritual activity, and I'm not into the code. I think Nicholson breaks the code down for you in the Literary History of the Arabs, that other book I was taking excerpts from. If once in my life I spend a moment without you or thee, from that time and from that hour I repent of my life. If once in this world I win a moment with you, I travel on both words, I dance and triumph forever. O Shamsi Tabriz, I am so drunk in this world that except of drunkenness and revelry, I have no tale to tell. So using the imagery of drinking, the tavern, the bar, to express mystical exhilaration and what's the word, which would probably be best when you're intoxicated with your vision. In any case, exaltation. To express mystical exaltation. And there's no doubt that this is mystical exaltation. And you know, Rumi became the founder of an order in Turkey today that still exists called the Whirling Dervishes. I don't know if you've seen, how many have seen Whirling Dervishes? Yeah, they dance. And I don't know if you've known, they just don't dance crazily. They go around in a kind of like a circle like this. And they keep on twirling like this until they get into a mystical, like, I'm already getting into it here, I don't want to keep up on it. But they do this for hours on end, and they're all whirling around to this mystical music in groups for some 24 hours, some longer. I mean, it's impossible to understand how they do it. And they're whirling themselves out of existence. And Rumi is the sort of godfather of that movement. They use his poetry that's put to music to do this and to recite and so on. So this is just an English version. I'm sure the Arabic or Persian that it was written, I think it was written in Persian, is much more beautiful. Okay, next little snippet that we have. Thee I chose of all the world alone, wilt thou suffer me to sit in grief anyway? Talking about roses, love, this sort of thing. Thou were first and last, thou shalt be. Make my last better than the first. Where thou art hidden, I am of the infidels. When thou art manifest, I am of the faithful. I have nothing except thou hast bestowed upon it. What dost thou seek from my bosom? Sounds like he's talking to God there. Another little effort. Make yourself like the community that you may feel spiritual joy. You have to picture this all in rhyme, music, and meter. Enter the street of the tavern. Here's the symbolism now. You see, when people in the West translated Omar Khayyam, they thought he was talking about eating, drinking, and being merry, for tomorrow you die. But most people think Omar Khayyam was also a Sufi and a mystic, and that the West misinterpreted his famous poem. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called the Rubaiyat. And we have a version of the Rubaiyat in Arbery. Well, I think this about had it. Let me see if I can find it. This, bringing your own pens, Mr. Paris, is a real, to coin a pun, a pain, is a real pen pain. Having to bring your own writing materials to class. Anyway, Omar Khayyam. And most people think that he was also a mystic, and he was translated into English famously in the 19th century in England, and the translation became really a bestseller, if you like. It still sells. It's called Omar Khayyam's Rubaiyat, and the philosophy is supposed to be eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you die. A loaf of wine, a loaf of bread, a bottle of wine, and thou beside me, and universe is paradise now. So thinking of eating, drinking, and making love as if that is the be-all and end-all of the universe. Maybe it is. But the point is, I don't think that Omar Khayyam meant it to be read like that. And the code is here in Rumi. Enter the street of the tavern, that you may behold the wine bibbers. Remember, Jesus in the Gospels presented as a wine bibber. You can apply this symbolism even to him in the Gospels, that he's a kind of Sufi, which would make more sense to me than the way the Gospels portray him, frankly. That I would think that is more what's going on. Drain the cup of passion. So the tavern, the wine drinking, the cup, all these things are symbols in the Sufi lexicon. Open your arms if you desire an embrace. Break the idol of clay that you may behold the face of the fair. Beholding the face is a mystical activity for beholding God, obviously. Why for no woman's sake do you endure such a large dowry? How long for the sake of 3 loaves will you look on the sword and the spear? Always at night returns the beloved. Do not eat opium tonight. Close your mouth against food that you may taste the sweetness of the mouth. The mouth is very strong symbolism all through here. The cupbearer, again, is a big symbolism. Is no tyrant, and in his assembly there is a circle. This is the circle of mystics practicing these mystic devotions. Come into the circle, these devotees. Be seated. How long we regard the revolution, the circle, or dancing, or whatever. Look now, here is a bargain. Give 1 life, receive 100. Cease to behave as wolves and dogs that you may experience the shepherd's love. You said, my foe took such a one away from me. Go, renounce that person in order to contemplate the being of him. Think of nothing except the creator of thought. This is about mystic contemplation. Care for the soul is better than feeling care for one's bread. Why then, when God's earth is so wide, have you fallen asleep in prison? Platonic view of life as a prison. Avoid entangled thoughts that you may see the explanation in paradise. Refrain from speaking that you may win speech hereafter. Abandon life in the world that you may behold the life of the world. Look at the face of love. Love, love, love. Amore. Italian love poetry. Ibn Hazm love treatise on love. Everything has to do with love, and yet love is a mystic activity having to do with loving God. That you may properly behold a man. Do not sit with the frigid, for you will be chilled by their breath. Seek from the face of love something other than beauty. It is time to consort with a sympathetic companion. Since you are a clod, you will not rise in the air. You will rise in the air if you break and become dust. If you break not, who molded you will break you. Don't ask to explain what all this means. It's first of all, it's English translation, and we don't know how accurate it is. When death breaks you, how should you become a separate substance? When the leaf grows yellow and the fresh root makes it green, you are complaining of love, through which you become pale. And oh friend, if you reach perfection in our assembly, the assembly anyway of the mystics, you will sit, your seat will be the throne imagery we already had in the Koran. You will gain, it's big in the Jewish Kabbalah too. You will gain your desire in all things, but if you